Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's pray before we continue, everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Raditu billahi rabba wa bil islami dina wa bi Muhammadin nabiyya wa rasulah. Rabbi zidni ilma wa rizqni fahma. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining this class today, Ms. Rashida, Ms. Maida, and Andy. How are you today, everyone?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, and let's be more and more grateful for what we have today. Today is the 11th session, and we have done all the 25 skills. We're going to have more material from the second ebook that we have. And then after this one at around 11, we're going to have a simulation today. I'm going to share with you the link of our Google Form task. Before that, we're going to take a look at the ebook, and hopefully we can finish more than in the last session, so we can get more concept of English structure. Okay. Yeah. All right. Before we continue, I'd like you to watch a video. This one is a very short one. As an introduction, this video is about Malcolm Gladwell. He's a writer and he has written so many books, and his book is very interesting. His books are very interesting. I bought some of his books, but all of them are in Indonesian because I bought them in the bookstores in Indonesia. But nowadays, we can find the PDFs of his books in English a lot far more easier than before, yeah. And in this video, Malcolm Gladwell describes or explains about the 10-hour rule. Yeah, if you have heard about this, then we can hear or we can get more about the explanation of a 10-hour rule. But if you haven't, then we're going to watch this together. The video will last around 9 minutes, and what I'd like you to focus is, of course, on the expressions, on the sentences that we can get from this video. So this is like a listening practice, and also the exposure of the English structures, because this video has subtitles in English. So you can listen and also see the sentences in English. So I'd like you to focus on the content and also the expressions, so you can see more of the models or examples of English sentences. All right, we're going to watch this video, and then after that we're going to continue to the ebook, and then after that we're going to end this session by doing the practice test. All right, we're going to watch a talk between Malcolm Gladwell, and in this video they are talking about a book of Malcolm Gladwell. The title is Outliers. Yeah, let's watch together.
Experiment. There's this thing out there that outlier. An outlier, if you do some sort of scientific experiment, there's this thing out there that is sort of this aberration that is way off the charts, and that's an outlier, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so let's talk about some outliers. One of the examples of success you use in the book are the Beatles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell the story of the Beatles and why they defy the norms and why they were as successful as they were.
Well, I was really taken by what happened to them before they came to America. You know, they come here in '64, and it's the Beatles invasion.
Explode.
But before they came, They were the house band in a strip club in Hamburg, Germany.
Right.
And they would play 8-hour sets 7 days a week for months at a stretch.
Sure.
And the idea there is that it was that we think of them as these geniuses who just come out of nowhere and who are naturally brilliant, but in fact they put in an apprenticeship of thousands of hours.
These
before
overnight successes aren't overnight successes at all.
Yeah, that's one of the big themes of the book, actually, is that we sometimes look at people and we think that they must have this great innate talent, and we forget the enormous amount of work that went into to what looks like genius. There's a principle I talk about in the book called the 10,000-hour rule, which says that in a wide variety of disciplines, from being a good doctor to being a great golfer, it doesn't matter really what it is, it looks like we need to spend 10,000 hours practicing before we get good.
Right.
So there's never been a great piece of classical music
Right.
composed by someone who hadn't spent 10,000 hours
Well,
first.
because you write about Mozart, and everybody
Yeah.
talks about Mozart composing as a little kid, but
Yeah.
he didn't really compose anything anybody cared about until he was what?
23, at which point he'd been composing for over 10 years. Yeah.
So it really, really does make sense.
I remain, I'm uninterested in that topic.
Which one? Well, the relationship between gift and practice?
No, I'm uninterested in natural gifts. I know they exist, and I know there's such a thing as talent,
but
and
it's
blah,
not
blah,
fun.
blah.
Yeah,
But
right.
I just feel like, so what, right? Because there are people, I always think of, you're a basketball fan, I always think of Derek Coleman.
Yes.
I remember chatting with a guy who worked for the Sixers, and he said, you have to understand that Derek Coleman was the most gifted man ever to set foot on a basketball court. He said, you've heard a million other names. Nobody was as good as Derek. And like, who has heard today, who puts Derek Coleman up there in the pantheon? No one. He didn't want to work. He had bad habits. He had a bad attitude. I mean, so what? Give me somebody who wants to go to practice in the morning and who wants to try in games, and I'll want to celebrate him. When you put forth effort, you get reward. When you throw your heart and mind and soul into something, you get something back. Now, in my book, I call that notion, that belief that effort brings reward, meaningful work. And when you look at the lives of people who are really successful, what you see over and over again is this idea of meaningful work is embedded in their consciousness. You know, I tell a story in the book of the Beatles. Everybody knows about the Beatles. They come here in 1964 and the British invasion. The most interesting thing about the Beatles is what happened to them before they came to America. In the 1960 and 1959, when they were just kids, they were invited to go to Hamburg in Germany to be the house band at a strip club. And they went there and they stayed there for months on end. And 7 days a week, they played 8-hour sets, night after night in this strip club, right? And over the course of that extraordinary crucible, that experience of playing, they taught themselves how to be a great band, right? In fact, we think now that by the time the Beatles came to America, they had played together as a live band 1,200 times. We could go to all of the clubs on Friday night in San Francisco where all the promising young bands are playing. I submit to you, you would not find a single band that has played together 1,200 times, right? Just doesn't happen. So what made the Beatles special? What made them special is that they were willing to play together 1,200 times, willing to play 8-hour sets 7 nights a week for months at a stretch. And why were they willing? Because they believed in the notion of meaningful work. They had an opportunity to throw their heart and mind into something and get something back. And that made all the difference in the world.
And to my annoyance, some reviewers of my book have accused me of being a cultural determinist. In fact, I'm the opposite. So the culture that we come from is only deterministic of our behavior if we choose to ignore it, right? If you never address, so the chapter that I was talking about in my talk, the plane crash chapter, it's really about Korean Air and how Korean Air goes from being an airline that almost gets pushed out of business because it has so many plane crashes, to being one of the, what is now today, one of the premier airlines in the world. And they transform themselves over the last 10 years, precisely because they say, they decide at long last to confront their cultural legacy and deal with it. And what they discover is if they are honest and open about the fact that in this particular instance, the cockpit, acting like you're a Korean is not a good idea, then you can change it. And they do. They take that airline from literally, it was this close to not existing anymore. And it is now an absolutely world-class airline. And what they showed, and I continue this theme in the second half of the book, is once we can talk about and confront culture, we can change culture. We're not prisoners of it. We're only prisoners of it if we pretend it doesn't exist. I had a conversation a couple weeks ago. I was giving a talk, and I was seated next to a guy who ran a regional bank in Akron, Ohio. And I said to him, I was talking about his business. How's your business, your banking business? He says, oh, we're fine. In fact, we're more than fine. We're about to buy a big bank in Chicago. I said, why are you fine and no one else is? And he was an older man. He was probably in his late 60s. And he said, I've been through this 3 times before. And what I suspect, we sort of talked a bit, and I suspect that he got humbled 25 years ago, or in the early 70s or late 70s, and never forgot that lesson. And it's that kind of, it is in times like that that we understand why experience and learning from experience is so important. You know, it's more than simply, that word is not a kind of meaningless triviality. Experience matters because there's certain kinds of things that you only learn when you've been humbled, right? You can't just explain to a 28-year-old things are going to get bad. It's not going to sink in. But to this man I was speaking to, who, you know, saw it firsthand and dealt with it, and I'm sure went through all manner of crises before, it's a lesson that he kept with him, you know. Colin Powell, before the Iraq War, he was the in-house skeptic. Why? Because he'd been through Vietnam, you know, in a very first-hand way, in a way that many of the other decision-makers had not, and had never forgotten those lessons. So there's another sort of case of someone who appropriately was humbled and learned from experience. And you've got to have people like that around. All my work is about storytelling, but using stories to kind of get at deeper truths. But fundamentally, I'm a storyteller. And in revisionist history, every one of the episodes is a story. It has a, and it's not me ranting on about this or that and the other thing. It's we meet really interesting people and we tell their stories and use that as a way of, and that's a theme in all of my work, is I think that the way into complicated ideas is through people and their stories.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'd love to know, what did you learn from this video? What clips spoke the most?
Very interesting one, yeah. And if you are interested on reading books of Malcolm Gladwell, you can find it. You can find them online. The books mostly talk about serious things, but Malcolm Gladwell told many stories in his books, so it's very interesting. Thank you very much for watching with us, and I'd like you to remember that getting 500 for your TOEFL score is not impossible. Yeah, it is possible. So only by doing the hard work can you get all you want. Okay, only by doing more exercises, only by learning more about English structures can you get better. Okay, let's learn more about English structures. Yes, in the last session, we have completed some points. We talked about simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. Now let's go to the next ones. Hopefully we can finish more so that later on in the simulation you can do better than the last one. Okay, let's see what we can finish discussing today. All right. Yep. So we are now in lesson 18. This one is on page, let's see, 121 from the second ebook that I shared with you a few days ago. This one is about incomplete adjective clauses. Adjective clauses are the clauses that function as adjective. And if you remember, let's review. Adjectives can describe nouns and pronouns. So usually adjective clauses will be close to the nouns or the pronouns that these adjective clauses describe. Now we can get more terms, yeah, istilah. We have adjective clause modifies. So modifies is another name of another term or another word of describe. So the adjective clause describes or modifies a noun called the head noun in another clause of the sentence. It begins with an adjective clause marker. I wanted the book had already been checked out. The book which I wanted had already been checked out. Okay, so we know this one. We have the marker over here, who, whom, whose, which, that, where, when. Okay, I thought we had this before, yeah? Okay, yeah. Let's see the example. There are 6 types of flamingos, all of which have long legs, long necks, and beaks that curve sharply downward. Yeah. So if we don't know the concept of adjective clause, probably we can think that the answer is A. There are 6 types of flamingos. All of them have long legs. It seems or it looks okay, right? But because this one has adjective clause, an adjective clause, so we have to use of which, because this one is a clause in a sentence. So there are 6 types of flamingos, all of which have long legs, long necks, and beaks that curve sharply downward. So this one, all of which have long legs. Why do I have to use of which? Because we see this one as a part of the adjective clause. Bagaimana dengan of them? Apakah betul? Betul, tapi dengan syarat di sini harus kita beri titik. There are 6 types of flamingos, titik. All of them have long legs, long necks, and beaks that curve sharply downward. Jadi kalimatnya dipisah, tidak dijadikan induk kalimat, anak kalimat. Kalau 2 kalimat ini digabung, maka yang betul adalah kita gunakan of which. Karena adjective clause digabungkan kepada klausa yang pertama dengan arti yang semuanya memiliki, all of which have long legs. Right? There are 6 types of flamingos, all of which have long legs, long necks, and beaks that curve sharply downward. Pertanyaan ini kemarin ada di practice test kedua dari YouTube. Yeah, so if you think that this one is okay, yes, it is okay, but only if there are 2 sentences. If these 2 are combined, then we need to see this one as the correct one. Okay, let's see the example. Most folk songs are ballads that have simple words and tell simple stories. Most folk songs are ballads. Yeah, subject. Most folk songs are ballads. Karena di sini sudah ada to be, maka kita harus mencari conjunction that have sekaligus sebagai subject, that have simple words and tell simple stories. Let's see number 2, 3, and 4. Kita agak santai, tapi kita fokus. After its introduction in 1969, the float process, the world's principal method, of glass. Ya, kita lihat nomor 2 dulu. Let's see number 2. After its introduction in 1969, this one is a prepositional clause. Prepositional clause. The float process, the world's principal method of manufacturing flat sheets of glass. Okay, what is the answer, everyone? A, B, C, D. Number 2.
Maybe C, ma'am. But
C.
if we look the context
Mhm.
adjective,
Mhm.
I think A.
A, okay.
The process by which it's become
Ya.
maybe.
Okay. Kita lihat dulu. This one is, ya. Boleh, teman-teman, Bapak Ibu, dilihat lagi. Yang betul apa ya? After its introduction in 1969, the float process, this one is a subject, the float process, the world's principal method, of manufacturing flat sheets of glass. What is this? The world's principal method, this one is the head of the phrase, of manufacturing flat sheets of glass. Okay, this is also a noun phrase. So what is missing? The verb. Yeah, so the answer is C. Pak Randi, you are correct. Okay, kalau lihat yang tadi, kok bukan A? Yeah, this one is a simple one. So we only need the verb. The float process became. Okay, let's see number 3. In 1850, Yale University established Sheffield Scientific School.
B, Miss.
B.
Were educated.
Okay, the options can be B or C. Yeah, in which were engineers educated, or which one? Okay, let's see B. Yeah, where engineers were educated. Yes. In which were engineers educated? Where were engineers educated? Yeah, okay. The answer is B. You're correct, Ms. Maida. Where engineers were educated. What about C? Yeah. If this one is moved over here, in which engineers were educated, this one is correct. But because this one, the to be comes first, then the answer is B. Number 4. Many of Louis Nevelson's sculptures consisted of a number of large wooden structures.
C. Which are arranged in compact patterns.
Yeah. Let's see again. Many of Louis Nevelson's sculptures consisted of a number of large wooden structures which this is an adjective. Yes, Mr. Fu?
Maybe A, ma'am.
A, okay.
Which arrange.
Is there another idea? Yep. So this one, many of Louis Nevelson's sculptures, this one is a subject, the subject of the head, the main clause, consisted of, this is the verb, a number of large wooden structures, which is the connector. So we need the subject and the verb, right? Which she arranged in complex patterns, right? So we need the connector and the subject and also the verb, which she arranged in complex patterns. Let's go to number 5, 6, and 7. In addition to being a naturalist, Stuart E. White was a writer. The struggle for survival on the American frontier. We are talking about adjective clauses. So we focus on that one. Stuart E. White was a writer. For here we have the subject and verb already. And it seems that all of these options have subject and verb too. So we need to find a connector, a subject, and a verb. Let's see which one, yeah? A, whose novels describe. Let's skip it. He describes in his novels. We have subject, verb, but without the connector. This one is not the answer. His novels describe. This is not the answer either because there is no connector. Let's see D. Who describing in his novels? Okay, what about D? In addition to being a naturalist, Stuart E. White was a writer who, describing in his novels the struggle for survival on the American frontier. Okay, it seems that we have to choose between A and D. Yang mana yang betul ya? A writer whose novels describe the struggle for survival on the American frontier, atau who describing in his novels? Yes?
A ya, Miss.
Iya. The answer is A. Kenapa bukan D? Karena kurang satu koma lagi. In addition to being a naturalist, Stuart E. White was a writer who, describing in his novels, the struggle for surviving on the American frontier. So we need to have a positive when we choose D. But because there is none, there is no other comma, then the correct one is A, whose novels describe. Ya, kalau ada pertanyaan bisa langsung. Kita lanjutkan nomor 6. Diamonds are often found in rock formation called pipes. Nanti kita akan sampai ke a positive. Let's focus on number 6. Which one do you think is the answer? Diamonds are often found in rock formations called pipes.
Maybe A, Miss.
Yeah, A or B.
A or D with connector which.
Yeah.
But I think maybe I guess the second clause is need subject, and then in B is without subject.
Yeah. What do you think, everyone? A or B? Miss Restu said A because we need the connector, subject, and verb. Diamonds are often found in rock formations called pipes. Okay, and then of course we need a connector because we will see another subject and verb. Ya, pertanyaannya apakah A atau B? Is it A or B? The answer is, yeah. The answer is B, because this one, which over here can also be a subject instead of, as well as the connector. So we say pipes which resemble. If you remember, connectors can also be or can also function as subjects. So there is a subject and this one is the subject. Yang menyerupai, yeah, which resemble. The answer of number 6 is B. Let's go to number 7. William Samuel Johnson. Okay, let's see. William Samuel Johnson.
Who had Miss?
Who had? Kenapa bukan yang A? Because this one takes the subject. Ya, yang dibicarakan adalah subject. So we have who. Whom itu kalau kita menggunakan atau melihat atau jika whom ini digunakan untuk menjelaskan objek. William Samuel Johnson, who had helped write the Constitution, became the first president of Columbia College in 1787. Good. Number 8. Seals appear clumsy on the land. Okay, let's take a look at this one for some seconds.
Maybe A, Miss, but they are able to prove.
Yeah. See? Seals appear clumsy on the land. This is a sentence, a clause. Seals appear clumsy, subject verb, but they are able to move short distances faster than most people can run. Yeah, the answer is A. Okay, let's do number 9, 10, and 11 in some minutes, everyone.
Miss, boleh bertanya?
Ya,
Itu
silakan.
yang mengenai which, who, that itu kapan bisa menjadi subjek dan kapan tidak. Kalau di contoh yang tadi kan which bisa menjadi subjek. Nah kalau di soal yang sebelumnya tadi yang which arrange in, which she arrange, nah itu kenapa nggak bisa which-nya itu menjadi subjek, Miss? Pada soal yang yang
Sebelumnya ya.
sebelumnya tadi. Itu kan which kan untuk benda ya tadi ya.
Sebelum ke situ, mari kita kerjakan dulu 9, 10, 11 ya.
Oke.
Kita lebih jelas. Okay, let's see. Let's do number 9, 10, and 11 so that we can get more understanding of the use of which, that, who, kapan kita gunakan di subjek dan objek. Okay, number 9. The instrument panel of light airplane has at least a dozen instruments. Ya, sudah pasti harus ada connector, right? Yang mana ya? What the pilot must watch, which the pilot must watch them, such that the pilot must watch them, or the pilot must watch them. Wow. Let's take a look at B. What the pilot must watch. This one has a connector, but the connector is not the one that we need, right? Because what is a connector for a noun clause, right? Oke, kita lihat dulu ke atas. Apakah ada penjelasan untuk ini? So this one will answer Pak Randi's question. Who as a subject for people? So if you need detail or more explanation about the use of who, whom, whose, which, and that for subject and object, we can check this one. So we use who if the one that is described by the adjective clause is a subject. Jadi kalau yang dijelaskan posisinya sebagai subjek, kita selalu menggunakan who. This is the example. A neurologist is a doctor who specializes in the nervous system. Yang dimaksud sebagai subjek adalah subjek pada klausa yang kedua. A doctor who, yang spesialisasinya pada nervous system. So this one uses who and not whom. Karena a doctor di sini sama dengan di sini yang dimaksudkan adalah subjek dari klausa yang kedua. Kita lihat bedanya dengan whom, object. This is the patient whom the doctor treated. Di sini kita lihat the patient yang dirawat oleh the doctor. Jadi biasanya whom itu digunakan kalau kalimatnya adalah kalimat pasif, di mana biasanya diterjemahkan dengan yang di. This is the patient whom the doctor treated. Pasien yang dirawat oleh dokter tersebut. So we use whom. Kalau kita gunakan who, boleh, tapi biasanya hanya pada bahasa Inggris casual. Kalau dalam bahasa Inggris yang digunakan pada tes TOEFL, maka kita harus gunakan whom. Kalau kita ngobrol sehari-hari, oh that is the one or the person that I met yesterday, or the person who I met yesterday. Oke, betul kalau kalimatnya adalah kalimat casual, kalimat sehari-hari, kalimat informal. Tapi kalau bahasa Inggris formal yang kita gunakan pada TOEFL test, maka kita harus sampaikan atau katakan whom. Whose, possessive. Mr. Collins is the man whose house I rented. Whose house I rented. Whose ini menunjukkan kepemilikan. Whose house I rented. Yang rumahnya saya sewa. Which, Ini bisa sebagai subjek, bisa objek. That is a topic which interests me. Which as a subject. Itu adalah topik yang menarik untuk saya atau yang membuat saya tertarik. That is the topic on which I will write. Topik yang akan saya tulis. Bisa terasa bedanya ya. Which interests me, yang menarik untuk saya. On which I will write, yang akan saya tulis. That is the topic on which I will write. Which as object of preposition. Di sini which-nya sebagai objek dari preposition. That sebagai subjek. Art that is in public places can be enjoyed by everyone. Art, seni, that is yang ada pada public places can be enjoyed. The painting that Miss Wallace bought, the painting yang dibeli, this one is the object. So we have that for subject and object. We can also have which for subject and object, but they have different focus, yeah, different meaning as an object and as subject. Where, here is the site where the bank plans to build. When, this is the hour when the children usually go to bed. Okay, like all clauses, adjective clauses must have a subject and a verb. In some cases, the adjective clause marker itself is the subject. In some cases, there is another subject. Right? The painting was very expensive. The painting which Miss Wallace bought was very expensive. This is a topic that interests me. Ini sama dengan skill yang sudah kita pelajari. In some cases, kadang-kadang subjeknya juga ada pada connector. Jadi connectornya bisa berfungsi sebagai connector dan subject. The adjective clause marker in the joint sentence replaces it, the subject of the second original sentence. Ya, ini menjelaskan yang ini. Bahwa that yang di sini menggantikan it. Jadi it-nya dianggap ada di sini. That interests me. Right. This one is not correct and this one is not correct too. This type of mistake is sometimes seen in distractors. Kadang-kadang karena ada konsep ini, maka biasanya distractornya dibuat mirip seperti ini, sehingga kita ini kelihatannya betul tapi ternyata salah. When the markers which, that, and whom are used as objects in relative clauses, they can correctly be omitted. Baik, ini tadi penjelasan dari nomor 9. When the markers which, that, and whom pada saat connector atau markers which, that, and whom are used as objects in relative clauses. Relative clauses ini nama lain dari adjective clauses. Kalau ketiganya ini digunakan sebagai objek, they can correctly be omitted. Kalau sebagai objek, maka conjunction-nya atau marker atau connector ini bisa dihilangkan. For example, the painting Miss Wallace bought is very expensive. Ya, jadi boleh atau dibenarkan untuk tidak menggunakan connectors dalam kalimat seperti dengan which, that, and whom ini. The painting Miss Wallace bought is very expensive. Which-nya bisa dihilangkan. The adjective clause markers which and whom can also be used as object of prepositions. That is the topic, I will write on it. That is the topic on which I will write. Nah, ini tadi penjelasan kenapa ada on-nya di sini. Karena menggabungkan dua kalimat. That is the topic, I will write on it. That is the topic on which I will write. You may also see sentences with adjective clauses used in this pattern. Quantity word, of, and relative clause. He met with 2 advisors. he had known both of them for years. He met with two advisors, both of whom he had known for years. Both of whom, right? Because it comes from both of them. Both of whom, yang keduanya sudah dikenalnya selama bertahun-tahun. I read a number of articles, most of which were very useful. Nanti bisa dibaca berulang-ulang, Bapak Ibu, untuk bisa lebih memahami lagi kenapa kadang ada which saja, kenapa ada of-nya, kenapa ada on-nya. Oh, ternyata memang kalimatnya mengandung on, preposition, dan of, yang. Ya. Most of them. Maka diganti most of which, seperti tadi yang kita bahas ya. Oke, kembali ke nomor 9. Jadi I think it has answered your question ya, Pak Randi, about using the connectors with subject and object. Ya. Number 9, ternyata tidak harus menggunakan connector. Karena kalau dilihat di sini, yang ada konektornya, susunan katanya disengaja dibalik-balik ya. The connector is not for the adjective clause. This one is for the noun clause ya. So B is not the option. Which the pilot must watch. Yeah, actually, if this one is omitted, then C is the correct answer. But because we have them, which the pilot must watch them, this one is not correct. Because the object is already here. The instrument panel of a light airplane has at least a dozen instruments, which the pilot must watch without them. Yeah, so C is not the answer. Such that the pilot must watch them. This is not the correct structure. So the answer is A, because this one is on an object. So we can omit, we can erase the word or the connector which. So the answer is A. The instrument panel of a light airplane has at least a dozen instruments. The pilot must watch. Caranya untuk tahu bahwa ini boleh dihilangkan atau tidak, nah biasanya distractornya atau pilihan lainnya seperti ini. Kalau kita tempatkan dalam kalimat, oh yang ini kurang, yang ini kurang, yang ini kurang. Oh berarti yang ini boleh tanpa connector. Ya. Let's see number 10. A keystone species is a species of plants or animals. Oke, kembali lagi ke tadi nomor 9. Bukan berarti bahwa kalau konektornya dituliskan jadi salah, tapi dua-duanya boleh. So we can have the connector, but if we omit the connector, it's okay. So both of the structures are correct. Yeah. A keystone species, back to number 10, is a species of plants or animals. Yeah, absence has a major effect on an ecological system. Absence? Whose, yes, right, because it shows the possessive.
Ma'am, I'm
yes.
sorry. Them itu bisa menggantikan kata benda kan? Them.
Ya.
Ya, saya bertanya tentang nomor 9 ini. A dozen instrument itu kan benda. Sedangkan yang kalau si itu, them itu, yang dimaksud them itu kan a dozen instrumen. Itu nggak bisa ya memang.
Yang C ini, kenapa them-nya itu tidak bisa? Karena sudah, jadi noun, objeknya sudah dipindah ke depan. Jadi sudah ditunjukkan dulu. Which yang harus diperhatikan, yang harus diawasi. Kalau dalam bahasa Indonesia, siswa ini adalah yang harus diawasi. Tanpanya, kalau kita kasihnya malah jadi redundant, kebanyakan. Nah, makanya yang C ini tidak betul, karena di depan ini sudah dijelaskan objeknya. at least a dozen instruments which the pilot must watch. Sudah, sampai situ saja, tanpa perlu ada them, karena nanti ada double object, seperti halnya kalau kita punya double subject, kebanyakan. Ya. Kalau them-nya dihapus, them ini betul menunjukkan what is it ya, the object. Ya. Nah, kalau ini di sini dikasih titik tanpa ada which, then we can use them. The instrument panel of a light airplane has at least a dozen instruments, period. Then we can continue with the pilot must watch them.
Berarti kalau di kata penghubung ini, klausa keduanya itu nggak boleh ada objek lagi gitu, Ma'am?
Iya, karena objeknya akan terlalu banyak.
Oke, terima kasih.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, so number 10 is whose. Number 11, the size and shape of a nail depend primarily on the function
For which it is intended.
Yeah, yes, for which it is intended. Kenapa for which? Ya, kita bisa kembalikan lagi, kalimatnya bisa dipecah lagi, seperti tadi yang kita lihat pada contoh. For which it is intended. It is intended for this one, yeah, primarily on the function. Number 12. In geometry, a tangent is a straight line that touches a curve at only one point, yeah? Because we have a subject, a verb, subject and verb. Then we have another subject and verb and also the connector. Number 12, D. Let's go to the next one.
Yes, I'm sorry, Miss.
Yes, Miss Restu?
Nomor 10 tadi, kenapa menggunakan was ya, Miss?
Ya, karena
kalau was itu bukannya untuk
orang,
passive people, ya.
untuk people, ya. Iya. Mestinya untuk orang. Kenapa di sini pakainya whose? Ya, because, well, yeah, I guess because this one shows the possession. Ya, tapi mestinya tidak perlu disebutkan orang ya. Kalau whose-nya tidak bisa untuk animals, tapi ternyata bisa. Ya. So we say this one whose because yeah, we can use this one. Okay. Yes, you are correct, actually, Ms. Restu. It should be for people only. Animals, this one for number 10, they are not people, so why should we use the whose? I don't know, probably they miss something, but apparently whose can be used for plants, animals other than people. Okay, let's continue. Number 30. It was the ragtime pianist Scott Joplin. This one will be the last number for this exercise. We're going to go to the next one. Let's see. It was the ragtime pianist Scott Joplin. The Maple Leaf Rag, perhaps the best known of all ragtime tunes.
C. Who wrote the Maple Leaf Rag?
Yes, who wrote the Maple Leaf Rag? Yeah, let's go to this lesson 19. If you are curious on the answers of the previous exercises, after this, I'm going to send you the answer key for the exercises of this ebook. but please use it wisely. I mean, do the exercises first and then check the answer key and then decide, oh, I have the correct ones for this number, and then for the incorrect numbers, you can check the answer key and then see the explanations why the option is that one. Yeah, so let's go on. Incomplete or missing participial phrases. Oh, we have limited time before the simulation. Yeah, cepat saja ya. Lesson 19, incomplete or missing participial phrases. Participial phrases generally occur after nouns. They are actually reduced relative clauses. Jadi participial phrases itu adalah bentuk pendek dari relative clauses atau adjective clauses yang diakhiri dengan ing. Present participles are used to reduce adjective clauses that contain active verbs. Yeah. Minnesota, which joined the Union in 1858, became the third second state. Adjective clause with active verb. Jadi kalimatnya aktif. Minnesota, joining the Union in 1858, became the third second state. Jadi kalimat 1 dan kalimat 2 itu betul. Kita menggunakan participial phrases ini namanya, berasal dari kalimat adjective clause atau relative clause lengkap dengan connector dan join. Jadi cirinya atau syaratnya harus kalimatnya harus aktif. Okay, William, most past participles end in ed, but there are also many irregular forms. Past participles are used to reduce adjective clauses with passive verbs. Kalau tadi participial phrases untuk yang aktif, past participles digunakan untuk pasif. William and Mary College, which was founded in 1693, is the second oldest university in the United States. Ini kalimat dengan adjective clause yang lengkap. Kemudian yang kedua, William and Mary College, founded in 1693, is the second oldest university in the United States. Jadi dua kalimat ini sama-sama betul. Yang pertama dengan adjective clause lengkap dengan connector. Yang kedua, connector dan to be-nya dihilangkan. Jadi tinggal founded saja. Alright. Participial phrases can also come before the subject of a sentence. Yang ini bisa dipindah ke depan. Joining the Union in 1858, Minnesota became the 32nd state. Yang ini past participle juga bisa dipindah ke depan. Founded in 1693, William and Mary College is the second oldest university in the United States. Let's see the example. Natural resources provide the raw materials needed to produce finished goods. Ya, tadi dihilangkan connector dengan to be-nya. Raw materials needed, yang diperlukan. Let's see. Aerodynamics is the study of the forces acting on an object as it moves through the atmosphere. Jadi kita belajar lagi tentang ing dan past participle. Okay, let's see number 2. For their strong fiber, include flax and hemp. Sudah kelihatan ya? Yang A? No, because if we have the to be, then we need to have the connector. So the answer is not A. Jadi melihat yang di-reduce atau yang direduksi, yang dikurangi. Yang dikurangi adalah connector dan to be. Jadi kita punya past participle. So the answer is B. Ya. Plants grown for their strong fiber include flax and hemp. Yeah. Number 3, one more. Jose Lyman's dance troupe often toured abroad. We have a comma over here. Which one? A, B, C, D? This is about the reduced past participle phrase and past participles.
B, ma'am.
B.
Sponsor.
Yes, nice. Sponsored by the U.S. State Department, comma, Jose Lyman's dance troupe often toured abroad. All right, let's check a little. Incomplete or missing appositive. Ini tadi yang tentang appositive. Appositive is a noun phrase that explains or rephrases another noun phrase. Jadi appositive itu menjelaskan noun phrase atau noun sebelumnya. Buffalo Bill, a famous frontiersman, ya, yang di tanda italic ini adalah appositive. A famous frontiersman, Buffalo Bill operated his own Wild West show. Jadi ini positif, menjelaskan subjek atau noun phrase yang di dekatnya. This one. Appositives are actually reduced adjective clauses. Ternyata appositive itu juga berasal dari adjective clause yang di-reduce. Oak, which is one of the most durable hardwood, comma, is often used to make furniture. This one is a complete sentence with the relative clause or adjective clause. Oak, one of the most durable hardwoods, we remove or omit which is. So it becomes one of the most durable hardwoods. Jadi sama seperti sebelumnya tadi, kalau yang tadi dirubah menjadi ing atau id, yang ini langsung one of the most durable hardwoods. Ini kita sebut appositive. Oke, nanti latihannya bisa dikerjakan. And then I'm going to share with you the answer key, ya. Lesson 21, incomplete adverb clauses. Incomplete adverb clauses. Full adverb clauses, jadi selain adjective clause, adverb clause juga bisa diberlakukan sama, bisa dihilangkan. Clause markers with ever, wherever, whenever, however. Reduce adverb clauses. When astronauts are orbiting the Earth, they don't feel the force of gravity. When orbiting the Earth, astronauts don't feel the force of gravity. Ini kita bandingkan. When astronauts are orbiting, we remove the subject and the to be. So we say when orbiting the Earth, astronauts don't feel the force of gravity. Ya, subjeknya pindah ke sini. Disebutkan di bagian berikutnya. Alright, although it had been damaged, the machine was still operational. Although damaged, the machine was still operational. Jadi kedua kalimat ini betul. Kita harus sering melihat, so we can decide which one is the correct one if we see this kind of double question. Although he was nervous, we can say, although nervous, he gave a wonderful speech. And this one is clause markers with ever, reduce adverb clauses. Ya, sama ya, terulang halamannya. Okay, prepositional phrases, because of, due to, kalau ada of, to, dan this one, belakangnya adalah noun. Because of its fine reputation, due to mechanical failure, on account of air pollution, tapi kalau di depannya despite dan during, sama saja sebetulnya, despite its loss, during the war. Jadi kesemuanya ini used before noun phrases or pronouns, not with clauses. Ini adalah kata yang diikuti oleh nouns atau pronouns, bukan diikuti clauses. Ya. Nanti bisa dicek kembali. Masih banyak ya, Bapak Ibu sekalian. Waktunya tidak memungkinkan untuk kita menyelesaikan. Right? Atau diselesaikan, nanti latihannya saya kirim saja ya. What do you think?
Ya, Miss.
Gitu ya. Mendingan kita selesaikan materinya. Untuk link latihan atau link praktisnya bisa saya kirimkan. Kemudian Bapak Ibu bisa mengerjakan secepat mungkin hari ini atau besok. Kemudian saya bisa cek nanti kalau ada yang belum betul bisa saya beri feedback untuk kita diskusikan. So let's continue with lesson 22, incomplete noun clauses. Noun clauses are the third type of subordinate clause. Ya, tadi ada adjective clause, ada adverb clause, sekarang kita punya noun clause. Dr. Hopkins' office is in this building. I'm sure that Dr. Hopkins' office is in this building. Yeah. I don't know if Dr. Hopkins' office is on this floor. This one is a marker that shows the noun clause. Jadi biasanya kita gunakan what, where, when, and so on, and the others to show the noun clause. And then for yes, no question, we use whether or if. Is Dr. Hopkins' office on this floor? I don't know if. I'm sure that. Jadi kalau statement kita gunakan that, tapi kalau questions kita gunakan if. Biasanya diterjemahkan menjadi apakah. Saya tidak tahu apakah Dr. Hopkins' office is on this floor. So this one is the noun clause. I don't know if Dr. Hopkins' office is on this floor, or I don't know whether Dr. Hopkins' office is on this floor. Where is Dr. Hopkins' office? Please tell me where Dr. Hopkins' office is. Kita lihat di sini, kalau pertanyaan lebih dulu where, kemudian is. Where is Dr. Hopkins' office? Tapi kalau dengan noun clause, maka kita sebut ini indirect statement ya. Please tell me, katakan kepada saya, di mana Dr. Hopkins' office, is-nya di belakang. Please tell me where Dr. Hopkins' office is. Bukan di depan. Kalau di depan susunannya sama seperti kalimat tanya. Karena ini adalah kalimat aktif atau statement, kita gunakan noun clause, maka to be-nya kita pindah ke belakang. Where Dr. Hopkins' office. Kenapa harus di belakang? Karena ini where di sini bukan sebagai kata tanya, tapi sebagai connector. Jadi kita harus punya subject dan verb. Susunannya sama seperti kalimat atau klausa. Notice that the word order in direct question is not the same as it is in noun clauses. Jadi berbeda susunannya antara direct questions ini dengan noun clause. Right, let's see the example. Often one of the distractions for noun clauses items will incorrectly follow question word order. Biasanya pilihannya itu disalahkan. Jadi kalau kita lupa, bisa jadi memilih option yang belum pas. I don't know what is her name. Nah, biasanya ini jadi distractor. Padahal harusnya I don't know what her name is. This is the correct one. She called him to ask what time did his party start. Biasanya ini jadi distractor. Padahal yang betul adalah she called him to ask what time his party started. Okay, noun clauses functions exactly as nouns do. Jadi noun clauses persis sama fungsinya dengan noun, sebagai subjek, sebagai objek langsung, atau sebagai complement after to be. When the meeting will be held has not been decided. This one, when the meeting will be held, this is a noun clause as the subject. The weather announcer said something, that there will be thunderstorms. This is what you need. This is a complement. Oke, kita lihat satu saja. Begin their existence as ice crystals over most of the earth seems likely. This one is a very long subject, yeah. That raindrops begin their existence as crystals over most of the earth seems likely. Let's see number 2. Scientists cannot agree on how fleas are related to other orders of insects. Fleas, yeah. How fleas are related to other orders of insects. Kenapa bukan A? Karena ini menggabungkan statement dengan pertanyaan. Okay, let's see the next one. Missing or incomplete prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrase consists of a preposition followed by a noun phrase. In the autumn, maple leaves turn red. Ini adalah contohnya. Often, prepositional phrases come at the beginning of sentences, but they may appear in other parts of the sentence as well. The correct answer for this type of item may be a preposition with subject or both, as well as other parts of the sentence. You may see prepositions in distractors, especially before the subject of sentence. Remember, the object of preposition cannot correctly be the subject of sentence as in these examples. Kita lihat, kadang-kadang ini jadi distractor. In the autumn is my favorite season. Nah, ini skill nomor 2. Jadi kalau ada preposition, kemudian diikuti dengan noun, maka ini bukan subjeknya. Right? So this sentence is incorrect because we need a subject for this sentence. Without a pencil is no way to come to a task. So we need a subject for this one. Yeah, let's see the example. The unaided eye can see about 6,000 stars. On a clear night, prepositional phrase, the unaided eye, subject, can see verb, about 6,000 stars. Right, let's see the exercise. Dynamite is ordinarily detonated with a device called a blasting cap. Kenapa jawabannya C? Karena di sini detonated with a device called a blasting cap. Tidak ada subject, verb, tapi yang ada adalah disebut. Disebut means adjective, ya. A device called a blasting cap. So we need this one. Let's see number 2. Seed of a flowering plant is covered by a dense protective coat. Ya, kita coba number 2. Seed of a flowering plant is covered by a dense protective coat.
Maybe see, ma'am, each of seed of a flowering plant.
Yes, each of seed of a flowering plant is covered by a dense protective coat. Kenapa bukan A?
I'm sorry, ma'am, the reason is difficult to explain.
Ya. Kenapa bukan itu ya? Yang lain, let's see. Kenapa bukan A? Kenapa C? Kita lihat bersama-sama. Yeah. Seed of a flowering plant is covered by a dense protective coat. Karena hanya diperlukan ini, each of seed, setiap seed of a flowering plant is covered. Kalau jawabannya on each seed of a flowering plant, maka jawabannya jadi salah karena tidak ada subjeknya. Bisa dirasakan ya. On each seed of a flowering plant harus ada subjek yang lainnya. Something and then is covered by a dense protective coat. So to make it correct, we don't need the preposition. Each of seed of a flowering plant, nah ini baru bisa jadi subjek. Kalau di depannya preposition maka tidak bisa menjadi subjek. Itu jawabannya. Alasannya kenapa jawabannya bukan A. Oke, kita sampai ke mini tes. Bapak Ibu nanti untuk soal-soal latihan yang di sini silahkan dikerjakan dulu, kemudian baru cek ansakinya. Lesson 24, word order items. Ya, word order, susunan kalimat. Kadang-kadang dibolak-balik ya, biar kita bingung. Nah, this one is the question from Miss Maida. Di sini ada Miss, tanpa harus ambil TOEFL program kedua. Ya, bisa kita pelajari di sini. Jadi ada in English we can convert or we can see the word order. Di susunan kata dalam bahasa Inggris itu bisa dibalik-balik, yang harusnya di tengah menjadi di depan, subjek harusnya di depan menjadi di tengah, seperti itu. Dengan beberapa catatan atau beberapa ketentuan, right? Let's see. When the negative words listed below are placed at the beginning of a clause for emphasis, we invert, so we do the inversion between the subject and the verb. Jadi jika ada kalimat dengan arti negatif, ini ditempatkan di depan kalimat atau di awal kalimat untuk penekanan, maka subjek dan verbnya dibalik, ya, invert. Not only, not until, not once, at no time, by no means, nowhere, never, seldom, rarely, scarcely, no sooner. Jadi kalau ada kalimat dengan kata-kata ini di awal, maka kita akan lihat subjek dan verbnya dibalik. Verbnya dulu, baru subjek. Nah, sekarang kan subjek dulu, baru verb. Kalau Bapak Ibu pas nonton drama dengan subtitle bahasa Inggris, nowadays these kinds of sentences are used most of the time, a lot of time, ya. So kadang-kadang ada film yang subtitlenya dengan kalimat ini, jadi banyak sekali digunakan. These are the sentences. Not once was he on time. Nah, kalau kita belum tahu ketentuan ini, bingung, ini salah, kenapa was dulu baru he. Nah, ternyata ada ketentuan word order or the inversions of the subject and verb. Seldom have I heard such beautiful music. Not only did the company lose profits, but it also had to lay off workers. Jadi yang ditukar hanya yang di depan saja, yang di belakang tetap sama. Okay. When the following expression beginning with only occur at the beginning of a sentence, with these expressions, the subject and verb in that clause are inverted. Kalau di depan ada kata only, maka dibalik juga. Only in an emergency should you use this exit. Only recently did she return from abroad. Only by asking questions can you learn. Ini kalimat canggih ini. Kalau sudah bisa bilang begini, bahasa Inggrisnya sudah ada di level C1 atau C2. Karena level bahasa Inggris secara internasional levelnya adalah A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Struktur kata seperti ini atau struktur kalimat ini biasanya digunakan oleh teman-teman yang bahasa Inggrisnya levelnya sudah intermediate sampai advance. Ya, seperti ini, nanti bisa dilihat lagi. The next one, when the following expressions beginning with only occur at the beginning of a sentence, with these expressions, the subject and verb of the second clause are inverted. The only occur at the beginning of sentence, and then we invert the second clause. Only if you have a serious problem should you call Mr. Franklin at home. Hanya jika yang ini tidak di-invert, tapi yang di-invert klausa keduanya. Should you call Mr. Franklin at home? Only when you are satisfied is the sale considered final. Jadi ini bukan terbalik, bukan salah, tapi karena memang ketentuannya seperti itu. When clauses beginning with the word so plus an adjective or participle occur at the beginning of sentence. Tadi only, yang selanjutnya so. So rare is this coin that it belongs in a museum. So confusing was the map that we had to ask a police officer for directions. When clauses beginning with expressions of place or order occur at the start of a sentence. When clauses beginning with expressions of place, pada saat klausa dimulai dengan expressions of place, keterangan tempat, or order occur at the start of a sentence, atau urutan, susunan. In front of the museum is a statue. Di sini ada keterangan tempat dengan participial prepositional phrase. Then we invert the subject and the verb like this. In front of the museum is a statue. Off the coast of California lie the Channel Islands. First came a police car, then came an ambulance. Pertama datanglah sebuah mobil polisi, lalu datanglah ya, then came an ambulance. Kok bukan ambulance came? Betul, kalau ambulance came betul. Jadi dua kalimat ini kalau tidak di-invert, betul tidak? Ya, I guess so. But if we need to emphasize, then this one is the correct one. First came a police car. Ya, kalau kita lihat di sini sudah ada inversion, maka yang keduanya harus inverted. First came a police car, then came an ambulance. Tapi kalau misalnya first a police came car, then an ambulance came, betul tidak? Betul. Kalau satu dibalik, maka yang berikutnya juga perlu di-invert juga. Alright, let's see this one is the example, yeah. Andromeda is a galaxy containing millions of individual stars, but it is so far away from Earth that it looks like a blurry patch of light. Not only do trees provide, sudah tahu. Word order items, kita lihat selanjutnya. This one is the same one, I guess. Ya, double ini. Ya. 24. Ya, items involving verbs problems. Ini ada verb. Nanti bisa dibaca, Bapak Ibu. Bisa dikerjakan soal-soal latihannya. Kemudian dicek untuk kalimat jawaban yang betul. Sorry. Baik, because the time is very limited. Sebetulnya asik, saya ingin sampai jam 12 juga nggak masalah sih. What do you think? But we still have so many things to discuss, ya. Saya kalau ngomongin structure kuat, because this is very fun for me. Ya, incomplete or missing infinitive and gerund phrases. Ada kata-kata yang diikuti oleh infinitive, ada yang diikuti gerund. Gerund itu adalah verb ing. To read the directions is important. He forgot to read the directions. It is important to read the directions. Jadi kita bisa menggunakan infinitive. Infinitive itu ditunjukkan dengan penggunaan to read, to read. They may be the subjects or objects of verbs or used after to be. Bisa digunakan sebagai subjek di sini, to read the directions, ini sebagai subjek. Bisa digunakan sebagai objek, he forgot to read the directions. Bisa digunakan sesudah to be dan adjective. It is important. Infinitive can be used as adjective phrases after noun phrases. Infinitive bisa digunakan sebagai adjective phrase sesudah noun phrase. John Glenn was the American to orbit the Earth. Jadi boleh sesudah adjective phrase after noun phrase. Ini adalah adjective phrase sesudah noun phrase. The first American ini adalah noun phrase. To orbit the Earth ini adalah adjective phrase. John Glenn was the first American to orbit the Earth. Jadi susunan kalimatnya seperti ini. Infinitive can also be used to show purpose. Bisa digunakan untuk menunjukkan tujuan. In other words, they explain why an action takes place. These infinitive phrases often come at the beginning of a sentence and are set off by commas. Dipisahkan dengan koma, biasanya di awal kalimat. To learn how to dance, he took lessons. Ini tujuannya. In order to learn how to dance, he took lessons. You may see structure items that focus on passive infinitives. A passive infinitive consists of the word to be plus past participle. Roberta was the first person to be asked to speak at the meeting. Right, ini adalah pasif dengan infinitive. A gerund is a verbal form that ends in ing. Gerund itu semua verb ing. Kalau bahasa Indonesia adalah verb ing, kata kerja yang dibendakan dengan menambahkan ing. Being, going, giving, building. Jadi ini dianggap kata benda. Gerunds are verbal nouns, ya, kata benda dari verb. Kata benda yang berasal dari verb and are used as other nouns are used. Digunakan seperti halnya kata benda. Playing cards is enjoyable. Jadi playing di sini bukan verb tapi noun karena sudah berbentuk gerund. Gerund as subject. He enjoys playing cards. He passes the time by playing cards. Gerund sebagai objek dari preposition. Oke, kita lanjutkan. Latihannya bisa dilanjutkan. Lesson 27, items involving parallel structures. Ini sudah kita lewati. Items involving misplaced modifiers. Driving down the road, a herd of sheep suddenly crossed the road in front of Lisa's car. Ini modifiernya atau kata-kata yang dijelaskan ini tidak sama atau salah penempatannya. Kita lihat yang betul. As Lisa was driving down the road, a herd of sheep suddenly crossed the road in front of her. Yang salah dari kalimat pertama adalah driving down the road. Yang driving bukan herd-nya, tapi orang lain. So this one over here should be the one driving the car. Ya, makanya di sini tidak pas karena harusnya Lisa di sini. Right? Kita bisa lihat di sini contohnya misplaced structure. Walking along the beach, the ship was spotted by the man. Ini salah. Harusnya walking along the beach, the man spotted the ship. Jadi mestinya yang subjeknya ini adalah yang melakukan pada pernyataan sebelumnya. Walking along the beach, siapa yang walk? The man. Nah, kalau yang kalimat pertama, walking along the beach, the ship. Nah, bukan the ship yang walking along, tapi the man. Right? Bapak Ibu saya lihat contohnya yang salah dan correction-nya seperti apa ya. Ini banyak sekali keluar di beberapa exercises yang kita lakukan kita kerjakan di YouTube kemarin, banyak yang seperti ini ya, ada beberapa. Okay, let's continue the next one. Lesson 29, incomplete or missing comparisons. Ini comparisons, perbandingan. Tidak begitu sulit, nanti bisa dibaca. Right, kita lihat lagi di berikutnya, missing conjunctions. Moreover, nah ini bisa dibaca. Dan masih banyak lagi di bawahnya, bisa dilanjutkan. If you find something that you need discussion, then you can contact me. Don't worry. Ini pakai bahasa Inggris. I'm sure that you can get this one. You can do the exercises, and inshallah I will send you the answer key after this. Alhamdulillah, we have covered some materials today, and our plan for next week is to have the first test and the second test. So we're going to redo the first test so that you can get the better results for the first test. Yeah. So please review again skill 1 to skill 25. The ones the test will cover only skill 1 to 25. Jadi yang tadi di sini tidak ada di skill 1 sampai 25, jangan khawatir, tidak akan muncul di soal tes 1 dan tes 2 besok. Yang muncul hanya ada pada skill 1 sampai 25. Yang kita bahas pada Ibu baru saja, ini adalah tambahan, sebagian juga dipelajari pada TOEFL Preparation 2 level 1. Kenapa harus dibagi 2? TOEFL Preparation 1 dan 2, karena kita sesuaikan dengan bekal awal atau kompetensi awal bahasa Inggris kita semua, sehingga materi yang diterima tidak terlalu jauh tingkat kesulitannya. But because you really need this one soon, then you can catch up ya. Yang 10.000 jam tadi bisa segera dihabiskan, bisa mengerjakan soal sebanyak-banyaknya mulai hari ini. Jangan khawatir. Tadi ya kata Malcolm Gladwell, kalau kita berusaha pasti ada hasilnya. Kalau kita latihan pasti ada hasilnya, insya Allah. Niatkan untuk beribadah. Apakah ada yang akan ditanyakan? Do you have any question? Tidak ada PR lagi. PR-nya sudah selesai karena sudah saya sampaikan semua yang ada di course book kita. Next week on Tuesday, remember, we're going to have test 1 and test 2, right? 25 minutes, hopefully ya. But idealnya untuk satu kali tes, seperti halnya dengan TOEFL test, 25 menit, tapi untuk tes kita berikan waktu yang lebih lama lagi, sekitar 40 sampai 45 menit. Jadi full session minggu depan akan kita gunakan untuk 2 tes. Kita mulai dengan tes 1 dan tes kedua. Ada waktu beberapa hari, silakan Bapak Ibu mereview lagi, membaca lagi, mengerjakan soal lagi. If you have questions, you can ask me and we can discuss. Right? Thank you very much for today. Good luck. Bismillah. dalam waktu yang tidak begitu lama. Silakan Bapak Ibu untuk memaksimalkan usaha sehingga nanti bisa didapatkan skor yang sesuai dengan harapan. Pada hari Selasa nanti kita akan sepakati tes TOEFL-nya akan dilaksanakan tanggal berapa. Yang pasti sebelum tanggal 8 mungkin ya, Miss Rashida. Ya, nanti Bapak Ibu bisa sepakati dulu sehingga hari Selasa besok bisa kita jadwalkan untuk TOEFL tesnya mau dilaksanakan kapan. Mungkin beberapa hari sesudah hari Selasa agar Bapak Ibu nanti bisa menyiapkan, bisa belajar lagi sehingga TOEFL skornya bisa betul-betul sesuai dengan apa yang diharapkan. Thank you very much everyone. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaih. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you Pak Randi, thank you Miss Rashida, thank you Miss Restu, thank you Miss Meda. See you next week. Happy practicing and please get ready for the test. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Miss.
Yes. See you. Bye-bye.